In the last video, we looked at the VLOOKUP function. In this video, we're going to look at two further functions that combined make a much more powerful lookup than the VLOOKUP function. We mentioned that the VLOOKUP function has some limitations, and using index and match together can overcome some of the limitations posed by VLOOKUP. So first, we're going to look at the index function. We're then going to look at the match function. And finally, we're going to look at index and match combined. Now, we're going to use the same data set that we used for our VLOOKUP function. But first, let's have a look at the index function. The index function returns the intersecting point between a row or a column. The syntax is index and then open bracket. And then you have the array. So this is the kind of table. Now, in the table, you then define a row number and a column number. And it's the intersecting point between the row and the column that's returned. Let's have a look at this by way of example. We have the employee name and we have the employee name set up as a drop-down. And we want to return the department and we want to return the salary using an index function. Well, we can start by writing index, and index first looks for an array. Now, the array is the table in which you're carrying out the lookup. Now, at the moment, we're looking for our department. So really, we would only need to select these two columns. After this, it's looking for a row number. Well, the row number for Ava at the moment is, if we start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Ava is the 5th row down. It's then looking for the column number. So what column number do we want in this table? Well, we want the 2nd column number. So this should return the department for us. Now, the problem with this is that we have hard-coded in the name, the position in the list for the particular employee that we've selected. So this is not dynamic. This doesn't work in this particular way. So what we need to do is be able to find whereabouts, what row number this employee is. And then we need to see what column number our lookup is in. So if it's department, and it would be column number 2. If it was salary and we selected the entire table, it would be column number 5. So let's have a look at that. So the match function, the syntax for the match function is match and then open bracket. And then it has your lookup value. So what value is it that you're looking for? Then it looks for your lookup array. So whereabouts are you looking for this value? And then it looks for a match type. So this is an exact match or an approximate match, like in VLOOKUP. Now, match returns the relative position in a list. So let's have a look at that by way of example. We want to find the relative position in the list for the particular employee. So we can use the match function, and match is looking for a lookup value. Well, our lookup value is, let's say, our employee. Then it's looking for our lookup array. So our lookup array is the column in which we are looking up our lookup value. Then it's looking for a match type, and we can choose between less than, exact, or greater than. We're going to select exact match, and then we can close the bracket, and it's returned for us the 5th position in the list. If we were to change the name now, this position also changes because it's dynamic. It's looking for this name in the list and it's returning the position. Now that was looking down a row, but you can also look across a column. So let's say we wanted to find the department. What column is the department in this particular array? Well, again, if we start with our match function and it's looking for our lookup value, well, our lookup value is going to be the department. And where are we going to be looking it up? Well, we can select the column, the row that contains these headers. And then it's looking for a match type, which we can select as exact and hit enter. And we can see that the department is in column 2. So what column is the salary in? Well, we can again do a match function to see what column the salary is in. So equals match. And our lookup value is going to be salary. Where are we going to be looking it up? Well, in our total array, in the column headers of our array, and our match type is the exact match. And this is the 5th position. Now we can see this is a very dynamic formula. It's looking up and returning a relative position in a list. And what we want to do in our index function is, instead of hard coding in our row number and our column number, is replace this with the match functions. So let's delete this last part of our index formula where we hard coded in our row number and our column number. And instead, what we're going to do is we are going to replace them with the match function that we created earlier on. Now we could, for our name, link to the formulas outside of the index function. So we've created the formulas down here. So our department is in this cell here. So we can link to formulas. And when we link to formulas, we see that because these values here update, these are feeding into this formula, which also updates. Now, alternatively, let's go back into this again. Alternatively, you can replace this and have your match functions within here. So our lookup value is going to be our name. We are going to be looking this up in our name column, and we want an exact match. And then our column number, we can also do a match for. We are going to be looking for our department in this case. We are looking up in our lookup array, which is the top column or the top row of the table, and then the exact match. And then we need to close the additional bracket to close our index function. Now, when we change this, everything will update accordingly. We can see Sam is in the sales department. We can see Louise is in the marketing department. Now we can do the same, and we can calculate and pull back in our salary figure. So let's write all of the formula together. So equals index, and index is first looking for an array. So it's within this table that we are going to do our lookup and return the intersecting point. Now the intersecting point of which row and column number? Well, we're going to use the match function. And the match function is going to look up the employee name. It's going to look it up in the name column, and it's going to return an exact match. And then our column again is going to be a match. Our lookup value is our salary. We're going to look it up in our top column and again return an exact match. And now our salary for Louise has been pulled in as 27. If we update this and pull in Janet, we can see she's in the sales department with a salary of 45. Now, if you were to do something like insert a row, when you insert a row, unlike with your VLOOKUP function, this function doesn't break because now your row number and your column number are dynamic and they can adjust for additional sets of data being added, additional rows or columns being added to your data set.